It's Jolene with Home Stitchery Decor. Everything is a little off kilter here. Just let me fix it. Okay, can you go down there we go, just a little bit, right? Just a wee little bit. Okay, can everybody see my sewing machine? I think you can, but I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit here so you get more of the actual sewing machine. Okay, so good morning. Hello. I haven't done a live in, I don't know, gosh, years, maybe years. But I had so many questions about sewing the Jellyroll rugs. And now it is, what day is it? It's July like 17th, I think. And my first Christmas markets start in November. So it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy busy. And I thought, why don't I work on sewing some stuff and showing you guys how to do it as well. So let me just fix the screen one more time because we're still a little cattywonker here. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Okay, so we're going to get started today. I've sewn the tubes for the jelly rolls already. So for the actual fabric rugs, I've sewn all the tubes and I have this great big basket. And if you haven't ever sewn the tubes for the rugs, I do have a full-length video called The Ultimate Rug Tutorial. I will link it in the comments and in the video description when I'm done doing this video. But for right now, let's just concentrate on doing the actual video. Now, one more thing I'm going to do, because I won't be able to see the comments on this screen, is I'm actually just going to go to my TV quickly and hook up this live so I can see it. I don't even think anybody's watching yet. Maybe you are. If you are, send a wave. But let's get it set up here so that I can actually watch my own live and hopefully be able to be able to see the comments, right? Okay, so we're live now. There's 3 of you watching. Well, hello. Oh, geez. Let's turn the mute off on this big TV. Okay, so we've got the live up on the TV. Good morning, everyone. Who's here? Leave a comment if you're here, and let's get sewing on these. So I've got, I think there's 4 or 5 in this basket. I'm hoping to get through 2 on this live this morning. I'm going to start with the cream one, and let's just get going. Here's the basket. I've got my floor all prepped, pre-cleaned here. And we're going to get started. Hopefully you can see the machine. I do have more close-ups of this on my channel. So don't worry about that. We'll just walk and talk you through it as we go. So how I start them is where the first color is, I try to fold the rope into thirds. And if it doesn't quite line up, I do it again, take a little off or put a little on until it's just about perfect. Of course, I did it one way and then I have to go back and do it another way. There's a Jellyroll calc that you guys can use now. It's on the App Store. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs because I've never used it. I just basically sew the oval rugs for my channel here. So let me just see too if I can get the comments up on this thing. 3 watching. Will I be able to see the comments? There we go. We've turned live chat on. All right. Sometimes I think it's better if you pre-record your videos because this can get awfully boring when you're doing the actual setup stuff. Like, I'm sure terribly, terribly, terribly boring. But it is what it is. Okay, so this is how we're going to start. I've got my strip. I've got the puffy edge to the outside. I've got the folded part with what I would call, the lip. It's going to go into the puffy part on this other first side. We're going to start from about here. We're going to zigzag backwards and then forwards. So this is a Singer heavy duty machine. If you guys haven't been here before, I'm Home Stitchery Decor. Welcome to the channel. Everything I do on the channel, I actually sell in my craft markets, and I provide all of the links for, oh, hi, Kathy. I can see Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, I've got my first comment on this video. Welcome to the show. Okay, so everything I do, I sell in my markets, and my ultimate goal is to get more people either creating crafts to gift to their families or to create their own craft business and, you know, start contributing to their family's income and lifestyle. So I share all the links, and if you buy stuff from the links, like the fabric or the machine or whatever, I earn small commissions. There's my affiliate disclaimer, and I'll tell you all the stuff I use as I'm doing it, because I cannot sew these for everybody. And you might as well, because you can actually make some money doing this. Okay, so we've got this on our widest zigzag. I've got my tension set at 5. I've got my length set at 4. And I start like about 1.5 inches down from the top of the fold. And I actually start going backwards first. Now, why won't my machine work? Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Do I have the wrong foot pedal? I do have the wrong foot pedal. Often when I'm working in here, I will sew the tubes of the rugs while I am sewing the crosshatch section for my soup bowl cozies. And therefore, sometimes I get the wrong foot pedal underneath me. Okay, let's try this. Oh, much better. I think too, like when you do a live, you're going to get, you know, people's actual personality. So I quite often, when I'm in my sewing room here, I will have my YouTube channel on to other people's stuff. I think it's important for me to support other businesses, but I also, you know, it's kind of like sewing with a girlfriend, right? Like you get to know people, and even though you're just watching them on YouTube, you can kind of see what they're doing and, you know, help support their channels by putting some time in. So essentially, every minute that I'm in here, if I'm not in my, you know, I need to be quiet, thinky kind of brain, then I will turn on my YouTube channels and watch other creators. So give back to the community that way. All right, so you'll be able to see when we're finished this rug, I'll show you a close up of it. But essentially, I did get this middle section pretty much perfect just by folding it in thirds. I'm not super fussy. I'm not custom making my rugs. So I just make them and then I sell them, and you get what's on my website. So if you do want to see anything, you can go ahead and shop on my website. And I see Jackson. Hello, Jackson. Welcome to the channel. If you don't have a fabulous mug in your sewing room, you're missing out. This one was from a local artist. I actually bought it. It was the only thing I bought myself other than food at Christmas markets last year. And she was a vendor that was a couple of stalls down from me, and I was eyeing up her mugs the entire time. I actually messaged my husband and said, "Will you buy me this mug for Christmas?" And he messaged back and said, "We don't do Christmas presents anymore. If you want that, get it for yourself." Which was kind of funny because it's true. We've kind of gotten to the age that when we want something, we just buy it. And it doesn't have to be, you know, justified or anything like that. Okay, so while I am sewing these rugs, you guys, what you need to do is make sure that you've got the edges pushed together, but not like, how should I say that? You need them snug together, but not pushed. And I always sew to the left, or yeah, basically to the left. Oh, and here my thread is going to go out. You know, I was kind of hoping that this rug today would go perfect, but of course it's not going to go perfect because we're live, right? All right, so what we're going to do is grab our little scissors and seam ripper. And it actually might be harder because I'm actually talking on television as well while we're doing this. So if your thread does mess up like this one just did, just pull it back and start over. Now, a great way for me to start over bobbins end, all that kind of stuff happens, is I actually turn my width down to nothing. And that way I will get a straight line as I'm sewing, and I won't have like a whole bunch of zigzag clutter. If you just start with a zigzag when you're starting your thread again, you have to go back and forth, back and forth. And I kind of learned over the years that doesn't actually look very good in the finished rug. So when I start my thread, I always start it with a straight line going back and forth, like I call them stay stitches, but I guess they'd be like stabilizing stitches. And that way, I don't have all these like chunks of zigzag here and chunks of zigzag here if the thread should break like it just did, or anything like that. So I've turned my width down to 0. I go back and forth a bunch of times to make sure that thread is super attached, and then I start again. Now, as mentioned, I do have a complete tutorial on how to sew this rug start to finish. And it's actually my most popular video on my channel right now. It has over 40,000 views, which I can't even believe. Who's here now? Oh, Allie. I'm just going to call you Allie. Allie Ezra. Did I say that right? Give me a thumbs up if I said that right. Hello, welcome to the channel. Yeah, so what's been happening here at Home Stitchery Decor? Essentially, I've just taken 2 months off, which is a long time for a craft business. Now, if you guys are new here, you don't know me that well, but if you're old here, you know the story. My husband got super sick with cancer last year. I had a detached retina, which you will actually see in that tutorial I was just telling you about. I did that video with my detached retina a few weeks after I had it and started to heal. I got back to work. But then this summer, things were getting a little bit better for us. And here goes my thread again. This is not going to work out very well here today. What is happening? We've got super sticky fabric, so this can happen. But yeah, essentially my husband did get better, and we had a really rough go of it the last couple of years. And so I essentially decided, this enough is enough. We need to have a break, and we need to do some things around our home, which we weren't able to do for the last couple of years just because he was so sick. And, I was so busy trying to get this business up and running with my markets, and not sure how well he was going to do long term, that I'm like, I really need to make a go of this business, because if things go bad, I'm going to be the only source of income around here. So we took a little break when everything started to go better, and I think everybody should do that if they can. And I decided I'm not going to do any summer markets this year. Instead, I'm going to solely focus on Christmas markets, and bought bigger booths. So that's exciting. I'm going to increase my booth size, which means I will need to have more products for Christmas. And the Jellyroll rugs I sell pretty much out of at Christmas time. It's absolutely bonkers. On the first day of Christmas, I will typically have a lineup at my booth for my regular customers that will come to see whatever I've got new. So that's going to be exciting. And this year, new to my markets as well, is going to be me selling the supplies for the rugs, not just the finished rugs. So if you're in the area, if you're in the Calgary area and you want to come see me at a Christmas market, go ahead. I will have some supplies there for you. All right, so back to sewing this rug. The trick with these rugs is to never push or pull the fabric. So as you can see here, I am not pushing the fabric in. I am not pulling it back. I am just letting the machine feed it in. You need to have this super loose. I may have to iron this one in a minute here just to get this one little section flat. But I have been sewing, oh gosh, now I would say probably 1,500 rugs now. So I'm getting pretty good at fixing these little blips in them as I go along without having to pull anything back. Just go super slow and let the fabric feed itself in. I'm using a 40 weight polyester thread, which is actually an embroidery thread. And in the video description, when this video is done, I will have my complete Amazon list there for you guys. So there's no gatekeeping here. You can go ahead and get whatever you need. The sewing machine I also got off of Amazon. It's a Singer heavy duty sewing machine. I think this one is a 4432. And it's a workhorse. It basically goes round and round and round, you know, without fail. So let's see if we can fix this little section here just by going even slower. That's my key too. If you have a little bobble in it and you need to fix it, compensate by going a little bit slower, and you'll see that the little bobble here that we had is now a tiny little thing, and it's going to be fine. This will be a flat rug when we are done. Might have to give this one a tiny little bit of an iron. When I do iron anything, I always let it cool afterwards before I start sewing again. And here I was watching my bobble and not watching the side here. So I'm going to pull out a few little threads here and start it over again by putting this down to 0. All right, Jackson, hi. Yes. Okay, I did get your name right. I see the little wave there, so that's great. All right, so these jelly rolls can be super expensive. I do have a video tutorial. It's not even really a tutorial. It's basically I just tell you where to get some jelly rolls inexpensively. I will have that video linked at the end of this one as well. So there'll be the actual tutorial for how to sew them right from the beginning. And then there'll be the me spilling the tea on where the best places to buy them are. And I also will have a link in the video description for Connecting Threads, which is one of my favorite places to buy them. They ship to Canada and the United States, and even in Canada, they have a pretty low, like you buy a certain amount and then they ship it for free. So they've got some really good rugs, jelly rolls there if you're looking to do that. And you can also cut your own. So if you are cutting your own strips, they are cut at 2.5 inches width of fabric. So what that means is you buy some quilting fabric and you, instead of like if you bought 5 meters of fabric, instead of cutting it this way along the length of the fabric, you actually cut it this way. And yes, the strips would be shorter, but the other thing is that the fabric has give one way or the other. And if you cut it lengthwise off the bolt of fabric, you don't have as much give on the fabric to go around the corners. So you need to cut it widthwise, and then I miter the colors together. So this is going pretty good now. It doesn't take very long to sew the rounded round part of the rugs for me, just because I've done so many of them. Now, I don't want you guys to think, you know, why isn't my rug perfect the very first time I'm trying to do this? I'll tell you something. When I first started, it was tears and actual curse words. Like, I'm not even lying. I swore so much. It would take me 3 or 4 days to do a rug. And now I do 3 or 4 rugs in a day. It's absolutely crazy. So this one here, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to iron this to get it flat. You got one side going perfect and one side that's got this tiny little bobble in it, but I don't want it to get worse. So I'm going to snip off this edge here and then just come on over to the sewing machine with all of this fabric, and we'll have a go over here. All right, can we move the camera? There we go. Have the ironing board set up just in case something was to go awry here today. I did try to have things planned out a little bit, but you can see here there's just this one little spot here that's got too much, and I want it to be super flat. So we'll let the iron heat up for just a second. Now there's 7 people watching. Hi, you guys. All right, so I just have water in my iron today, but you can use Mary Ellen's Best Press, and quite often when I'm done my rugs, I will give them a shot of Best Press anyway, and it has, the one that I like to use is like a lilac scent, and it smells really good. So, you know, when you package things nicely and they smell nicely, they sell better at the booths here. So you'll be able to see here in behind me as I'm ironing this, that I do have mix and match products on all of these stands. This is how I built my business, is mix and match products. I started with the rugs, moved on to tea towels. I have dish drying mats, soup bowl cozies, my kitchen dishcloths, which I crochet myself. I have my collection of cards, and everything I do, I teach right here on my YouTube channel. Okay, so you can see here now that this is pretty flat. Hopefully you can see that. I'll move it over a little bit. Maybe you can't see it. Okay, so it should be super flat here now. Just going to let this cool for a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds, because I'm live on television, so we can't let it cool too much. You guys will get bored. And we'll move back over to the sewing machine. Off we go. There's 9. We've got 9. We hooked 9 of you. Hooked you, right? Okay. So can we see the sewing machine? Yes, we can. Like I said, when you do these lives, you actually get to know the person, right? Because there's no editing. And typically when I do my videos, I'm able to edit out the ums and the ooms and the coffee breaks, which I'm not going to edit out today. I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. It is going to probably rain again this afternoon. I live in Calgary, Alberta, and this summer we've actually been kind of wet, which is surprising. So Calgary, Alberta, Canada, if you're not familiar with where that is, you might know about Banff, Alberta. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes away from Banff. So we can see the Rocky Mountains outside our windows. It's very pretty here. No, we don't live in igloos. I know that's a common misconception for some people still. We do get some pretty cold weather in the wintertime and quite a bit of snow. But in Calgary, we also get Chinooks, which are a weather system that comes in over the mountains and heats us up really, really quickly. So that's kind of nice. So you can see this is where that bobble was, and now my rug is perfectly flat. So don't be shy to iron a rug. If you have a huge wave and you just keep sewing, you're going to have a bigger wave, a bigger wave, a bigger wave, a bigger wave. There's, ways to compensate by just shimmying the fabric one way or another a little bit to give, to have a little bit of give, just like if you were like sewing some gathered sleeves. But unless you've sewn a lot, I highly recommend just take that thing out. Like get your Jack the Ripper here, this guy, and take it back to where the bobble started. You'll have much more success. So I get comments all the time, I started making a rug and it turned into a bowl. All of those problems used to happen to me. I'm not special. Like, I've had the exact same experience that you guys have had. What I will say is things that I have learned that for sure work is to buy better fabric, buy better batting, have a flat surface if you can, and go slow and take out your mistakes. It's just like driving a car. Like when we first all, started to learn to drive, you couldn't go around a corner at the same speed you can go around a corner at now, because you needed a minute to figure out, what speed you needed to get that vehicle around the corner, in between the lines. So sewing these rugs on machines here is no different than driving a car. You just need to get some practice behind you. And if you're driving okay, I don't want to defame any cars, because you never know who's watching, but if you're driving a cheap car as opposed to driving an expensive car, you will notice that it doesn't handle the same way. So it's the same for fabric. It's the same for the sewing machine you choose to use for this. Now, I've used a Singer Heavy Duty with this zigzag for my rugs for years, and it works. It doesn't have to be, the most expensive machine. But I tell you, if you buy a $99 machine, you will not be happy. It will not go well. That's my take on it. So as you can see, this is going to go super fast now. Everything is completely flat. And I'm not forcing anything. I'm not pushing or pulling anything. This fabric here that I'm feeding in is always super loose. There's no tension on it whatsoever. And all I'm doing with this hand here is just taking a little bit of pressure off the rug on the side. As the rug gets bigger, that's more important. But essentially, the machine is feeding in the two ends of the fabric, and I'm just guiding the fabric around at the same speed and tension as the fabric is getting taken in through the feed dogs, or the feed dogs. What would you call that? You always get stuck for words when you're on a live. No, it is the feed dogs, right? Like those little chug things that go in underneath. I'm not using a walking foot. I do hear that they are very helpful for some people. I've never used a walking foot, and I've had pretty good luck without one. You will notice if I change bobbins here that I am using metal bobbins. That's a no-no, by the way. But I just found that out because I had a video where I was using metal bobbins. And one of my viewers on this channel said to me, "Hey, Jolene, did you know you're not supposed to use metal bobbins?" And I was like, "What? They sell them all over the place." So I ended up doing a video on it, and I explained, that just because you can buy them on Amazon doesn't mean that you should be using them. Every machine manufacturer, when I Googled it, said don't use metal bobbins. And then this machine now, if I put a plastic bobbin in it, probably because I wrecked it using metal bobbins, now it doesn't like plastic bobbins, and sometimes the bobbin casing gets stuck. So I still need to sew. And because the metal bobbin is working, I'm going to use the metal bobbins until this machine dies, knowing that I probably buggered up my own machine, which is like, of course, right? But it doesn't say anything in the manuals for the sewing machines, and you can buy those metal bobbins, which don't break, and you can buy them readily on Amazon. And they all say, compatible with this machine or that machine. Here, I've just jinxed myself, right? Did you hear that? Because I heard it go. And they all say they're compatible with all these machines, but when you do your research, it's actually no. And I think they're just selling them. Well, obviously, they're just selling them because they want to make money. So, like I said, I kind of buggered myself up. Okay, so that one's done. Let's get a new bobbin here. And again, we just go back to where it messed up, cut off all the loose threads, turn my width on my zigzag down to 0, and then I do my back and forth stitches. I didn't rethread this either. I do my back and forth stitches so that I don't get a huge glob of zigzag. Okay, I need to rethread this here. And I think some of you might be wondering here too, why I have a straw here. Now, sometimes I get going on this machine so fast, like I'm slowing super slow right now because I'm doing a tutorial and a live video, but I'll get going on this thing so fast sometimes, like if my fabric's working and my thread's working and, you know, all the stars are aligned, and sometimes the thread will just bounce, and it will bounce on every single machine. And so I've found that, yes, I have this stand here that I put it on, and I have the hooky thing up here, and you know, there's the hook here and there's the hook here, but every once in a while something would get pulled here and there would be a loop, and then it would bugger up all the way over to here. So I was like, why can't we just have like a long tube to put this thread into and just increase my chances of success, even by 1%, which is kind of a funny story, I'll tell you. But it works. So I've done that for years. I've had this little, it's just a drinking straw, and I tape it to the top of my machine. And then if something goes catawanka over here, by the time it gets into here, it's often sorted itself out, which means I can go that much quicker. Okay, so this 1% thing. I listened to a ton of podcasts, and one day I was listening to a podcast about productivity and efficiency, and it was telling a story about this British cycling team that kept losing all these big cycling competitions. So they hired a new guy to come in, and he essentially went through each and every system that they had and said, you know, we don't need to improve anything by any margin other than basically 1%. So how can we make the pedals 1% lighter, 1% more your foot doesn't fall off the pedal, 1% better tires, 1% better seat, 1% better shirt that you're wearing to make you more aerodynamic, 1% better haircut so you're more aerodynamic, 1% better helmet. You get the drift, right? So every time I have a system here in my office, that story rings through my head. And I keep saying to myself, well, how could I make this 1% better? How could I make 1% more money on it? How could I reduce my cost by 1%? Or reduce the amount of time that I spend doing it by 1%? And it turns out that guy was super smart. And by taking his advice, I have been able, see, this is what it does. You can see right here. It's got a little loop. By taking this person's advice and listening, basically letting this story be an inspiration to me, I've made some big changes, and it was super helpful. So I'm going to keep doing that. All right. Who have we got now? Hi, Maria. How are you? Welcome to the Home Stitchery Decor channel. Are you new here, or are you a previous watcher? Let's get some comments going here, guys. Okay. I am going to run a contest here for you guys. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. For all the viewers that are on right now, there's, I believe, 11 of you guys watching right now. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a piece of paper, and I'm going to write down a number. Let's see. We've got a pen. We've got a paper. Okay, so I'm going to write down a number. And how would we do this? Okay, let me think about how we're going to do this for a second. I'm going to write down a number, and we're going to pick a prize for people, but we need to have it so it's in the order of the comments. Okay, you guys, whoever is watching, leave another comment. So after this, Maria has said hi. We're going to start it right after her comment here. And I'm going to write down a number, and the person that leaves the comment that lines up with this number is going to win a fabric tube maker. We'll connect after this. You'll have to give me your address, and I will mail this free of charge to someone. You need this fabric tube maker to make these rugs. Okay, so right after Maria here, the next 11 comments that come in that line up with this number, and I've wrote down the number right now. It's on this piece of paper. We're going to leave the piece of paper right here so that nobody can say we moved it. Okay, so go ahead and leave a comment. The next 11 comments that come in will qualify. And once we get 11 comments, we will pick the, show the number, and we'll announce live who has won this thing. I was going to do a different kind of a draw today, but this is going to be way easier. So if you're watching the channel right now, be sure to leave a comment after Maria has said hi. So it was Jackson, Ali, and then Maria, and now the comments count. Thanks for watching my channel today. That's exciting. I want to do more good in the community. Okay, here, I'm going to tell you a story. So years ago, I came across this platform called Kiva, which is Kiva, and it essentially hooks people up with microloans. And what a microloan is a small amount of money for businesses to improve their processes. So there's a lot of people in the United States that apply for loans with Kiva, but there's also people from like third world countries that apply for loans with Kiva. Now, what you can do is you sign on to the platform and you basically, it's basically make a donation. So for as little as $25 US, you can loan that $25 to somebody asking for some money. And they repay the loan, and then you can either withdraw your $25. So I guess it's not really a donation because you can withdraw it. Or you can reloan that money to another person. So I did make a video on it a couple of weeks ago about my earnings report. Who have we got here? We've got Florence. Hi, Florence. I've always wanted to see how to make those mats were made. Thank you for your video from Ireland. Well, hello, Florence. That's exciting, from Ireland. Holy crap. You never know where people are from. So if you guys are stuck for what to leave for a comment. Oh, my paper dropped down. Hang on. We don't want to lose it. If you're stuck for what to leave for a comment, just tell us where you're from. Let's get the conversation going. So Florence, you're number 1 out of the 11 comments here. And I do have a number on this little Post-it note. So we're waiting for 10 more comments, and then I'll tell you who's going to win it. But that's exciting. I never knew I could reach, every single continent until I started this YouTube channel. It's so exciting. If you missed it, Florence, I am from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So that's where I'm from. So this is how we make the mats. Round and round and round we go. A flat surface if you're new here. No tension on this. Let the machine feed the fabric in. And let's get back to Kiva. Okay, so Kiva offers these loans to people. They have to apply for them, and then they pay back the loans. Now, you don't have to loan somebody the whole amount. It's like crowdfunding. So you put in $25 and say they were asking for $4,000. A bunch of other people can put in $25, and the next thing you know, this person has their loan fulfilled. You could also make a monthly donation, and then the donations are allocated across the platform, is my understanding, so that everybody gets a little bit of this money. So if you're unaware of what happens with this, is microloans for people in developing countries can literally change their lives, literally. So there's a bunch of people on there, like say from Honduras, and they're looking to buy more groceries to sell in their store. Well, the thing is without these microloans or small, like charitable organizations going in and helping these people, there would be no help. So it takes them an increasing amount of time comparatively to developed countries to grow, to become more stable financially. And part of the reason is they don't have banking. Like they can't even go to the bank and get a loan because they don't have banks operating. So these GMO organizations will go around and help them with as much as they can. but they essentially need to do the work themselves, and they need to pay back the loans. Now, I believe it's 94% success for people paying back the loans. And for me, like $25 American is not going to make or break me. Of course, we're not uber rich, but we're okay. And I do this craft business stuff. So it would be nice if I could give back to the community that's supporting me, and frankly, to another creator. So I'm going to do a video here this afternoon, like an actual recorded video of who I'm going to choose for this Kiva loan. But I want to find somebody that does like some sewing stuff. And I was going to do it about 3 weeks ago, and then I just got stuck and too busy. So I'm going to do a video here this afternoon and show you guys the whole how it works and put some money where my mouth is. But I find that's important. Like even sewing these rugs. I'll tell you a story. It a little annoys me that people take a project like this that has been passed down for generations and then charge people for it, like to learn it. That kind of annoys me. So I do teach this on my channel. I don't charge for it on my channel. If I ever had a PDF download, I would probably charge for the PDF download, just because I put some work into that and there's bookkeeping, etc. involved. But all of my projects that I make for my business, I have them all over this channel for free. And I think that's important to teach somebody next to you how to do something. Like, honest to goodness, I cannot make all this stuff for the whole entire world. You can go buy this. You can go buy this afternoon. This rug is already on my website. You could go buy it right now. Wouldn't that be funny if my phone went ka-ching while we're doing this live? And I will ship it to you. But if you want to learn how to make it, I'm going to teach you how to do it, because if you want to learn how to do it, you're either going to learn from me or you're going to learn from somebody else, and it doesn't matter. If you want to shop the links of the supplies that I showed you, that's great. That helps support the channel, and then that helps me, do these giveaways. So that's fantastic. But yeah, essentially, don't be a craphead. Like, it's kind of like, if somebody were to copyright Christmas and then charge everybody for it. Kind of annoying. All right. Do we have any more comments? No, we've just got Florence here. Oh, you guys, you don't want to win a tube maker. Good thing this video is going to go on for another rug. Okay, so you can see here, after I fix that, this rug is perfectly flat. Everything's, I'm going to knock on wood, but going well here with the sewing of the rug. So just slow and steady. Don't push, don't pull, nothing like that. Just go slow. What's everybody up to today? What are you guys doing in your own offices or your own studios, or what brought you to this video? Just the sheer pleasure of watching something go round and round? That would be fun. I do have a channel where I just sew the rugs round and round and I don't talk. It's an ASMR channel. And I don't know if it'll ever do anything, but I do have a bunch of videos up on there. And some people, I think, really enjoy just the mechanical sounds of something like this being sewn. And I figure, why not? I'm sewing them anyway. I will videotape it and put it on YouTube. And then if it pays me one day, fantastic. And if it doesn't, it wasn't that much work, and it was kind of a fun little side project. All right. Okay. Hi, Karen. How are you? I'm trying to read my phone as stuff goes on here. And I should be able to see it on my TV too. Yes, all this is made in my home. I am currently in my basement. Yes, in my basement, sewing along. And I just buggered up my thread again. Don't know how, but you know what? It happens. Sometimes it's just because the fabric is a little sticky. Now, I'm using a jeans needle. You can use, well, I should be more specific. I am using a um, 116 jeans needle today. You can use a purple Janome needle. I hear they work very well as well. So you want a needle that's going to go through and pick up the thread um, at the bottom. You know what? I'm just going to change this bobbin just because it's almost done and I have a full one right here. Oh, Florence, I belong to a similar group called Lend Care, and I've always been paid back, which allowed me to lend to another person. Yeah. So you see, you guys, this does work. And what a difference. Now, can you imagine if somebody very popular that just got married in Italy, we all know who he is, did went onto this platform and made every single loan? Could you imagine what would happen? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Why is this doing this? Oh, we got something buggered up here. Okay, what's going on? Doesn't like something. The bobbin is moving. I probably didn't have something threaded right. Let's go back to here. This is where patience pays off, you guys. Just be patient. We all have the same experience. So you're going to start these rugs and you're going to go, oh my goodness, this was horrible. Like I said, tears and curse words. And then one day you're going to get it and go, oh, I'm so glad I did. And you'll be making them for all your friends and family. You can even make them and sell them at a craft market. And you will thank me later. You don't have to, but I mean, it's cool if you do, right? Okay, put the bobbin back in, get things threaded again, pull out all the crap, see if we can mess this up one more time. As long as my rug is flat at the end, that's basically all I care about. That's it. I don't care about any of this other stuff. And the reason my rugs are so affordable, you guys, is because, yes, I am making this rug here right now, but typically I sew the tubes while I'm sewing soup bowl cozies. And then in behind me here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but in behind me is my embroidery machine where I sew, I embroider my Christmas ornaments. So that will be running at the exact same time as I'm doing this. And over in this other corner, way over this way, I have a Cricut machine, and it is, we'll be cutting out my cards. So my Christmas cards at the same time. And that also keeps me, pretty mobile in my sewing room, because I think if you just sit, of course, that's not good for you. So because I have typically the 4 projects going on at the same time, unless I'm sewing this, then I only have 3 projects going on at the same time. Then I'm up and down, and I'm, getting some movement, which really helps with fatigue, the sewing fatigue. And of course, I always, if you've seen me here before, I always have my washer and dryer going. I'll have my ice maker going for our camping trips. I'll have my dishwasher going. I'll have my crock pot going. So I kind of go around my house in the morning and I set up all my machines to run. And then once all my machines are up and running, whatever machine in the house, then I come into my sewing room and I set up all these machines. And by the time I'm done a rug or done an ornament, it's usually about a 45 to 50-minute cycle in my house where I finish what I'm doing in here. I have to flip the machines around to change out the embroidery. Typically is what stops everything, and then I'll go and do a loop and make sure I've emptied the ice maker, put another load of laundry in, etc. Whatever I need to do for that. So that's how I get it all done. So I refuse to work as hard as I used to. I just want everything to be efficient. But the key with that is you have to set up your systems. You just have to. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. All right. Now, because I'm sewing just, what would I be left of center, right of center? I don't feed this in exactly even. I always make sure that my needle is slightly more to this side, to the inside of the fabric. And that way, this lip here, where you've sewn the tube together, it always gets caught by the zigzag. And I say always, but it doesn't always. You have to flip it over and look. And if you've got a couple little sections that didn't get caught by the zigzag, then you can actually tack them down from the other side. And like I said, no machine is perfect. No person is perfect. Slow and steady, and you will get this project. The more you force it, the harder it will be. So this rug here is 36 lengths of fabric. So this is cut width of fabric, right? So width of quilting fabric, which is, I think it's 42 to 44. All of this was 42 inches, and then I mitered the ends, then I sewed it around Pellon batting, and now I'm zigzagging it together. And if you're just joining us, all of the supplies will be listed in this video, in the video comments after the live has stopped, because I can't go put a description in until after the live has stopped here. But there will be, it'll be in the first comment and in the video description. Maybe I could have, but I didn't do it. I should have put the video description in maybe beforehand. Anyway, there will be a supply list, and if you do buy from the supply list, I earn commissions. They're very small. They help me do these giveaways. Thank you for that. Because yeah, even though I have a sewing business, I am not making, bank. Like, I'm doing pretty good, but it's not paying every bill in our house. We're still, my husband is still working, so it would be nice if we could get that done. Okay, so this is the finished rug. This is 36 strips, which is fantastic. So they're washable in the washing machine on the gentle cycle. They dry in the dryer. I always just dry mine until they're about 3/4 dry, or you could hang them to dry, and they will last forever. Like, I've had people that bought my rugs 10 years ago and are still, well, no, not 10 years ago, because I started in 2019. And they're still coming back to me, and they've got rugs that are still done. So there's the back side of the rug. And you guys will see here, I did a taper on it. I don't like a blunt end. I like a taper. And that's it for this one. So now we're going to do this green color. Well, teals and blues and greens. So I'm going to change my thread out here. I've got a couple of bobbins already wound for this. So fantastic. Not very many of you guys left. There's only 8, which means you could win the tube maker. And thanks for being here, you guys. You have no idea the commitment it takes to start a YouTube channel, and then people watching it, how much that has helped me over the years. Just confidence-wise, and watching other makers on YouTube is so inspiring to see what exactly they do and how they do it. And so many people give so much information away literally for free on YouTube. They're like, hey, I'm doing this. I am monetized by YouTube now, so I do have some monetization videos telling you guys exactly how much money I make, but it's not a whole bunch of money. So basically, we're doing this, in hopes, of course, that we're all going to get rich on YouTube, but it takes years and years and years to get some traction, to get some loyal followers. So if you guys are watching me on the regular, honest to goodness, I cannot thank you enough. It's been absolutely like life-changing for me, for everything. Just, I can do this. I can learn new things. I can do hard things. I can come up with new ideas, and, show people, and I don't have to be nervous about what people think. I very rarely get a mean comment on YouTube. Very rarely. There's going to be some, the more popular you get. I had one lady basically say, I had put a short video up, and she basically said to me, "Oh my God, your voice is so annoying." And I reverse engineered where she was, and I was like, people from I think it was Nebraska. I'm like, you'd think people from Nebraska would be nicer. And that was it. That's all I had to say. She shut up. It was absolutely crazy. Because I don't think we need to be mean to each other. I don't think that's going to help out anybody in this world. Okay, so again, we're going to start. I know where the next line is here, so I'm just going to fold this into thirds until it lines up. I always start my rugs folded into thirds. I basically just sell different sizes of oval rugs in my booth. I keep it simple. I don't want people custom ordering everything, because I want the rugs out the door when I'm going. I'm going to start my zigzag about 1.5 inches down from the fold. The folded fabric goes into the puffy side of the fabric. The folded fabric is on this side and this side. Puffy fabric is on the inside and this side. So you want that folded fabric to go into the puffy side. And I start from 1.5 inches down, I zigzag back, and then I come forward, is how I do it. I do it the same. I do it every time. And I find this works. I sew a little bit to this side of the sewing machine to make sure that the fabric gets caught underneath on the zigzag. And off we go to the races. Now this one should go pretty quick. And how many comments have we got here? Oh no, we've still got Florence here. Hi. All right, this color is gorgeous. This is from Connecting Threads, and they do ship to Canada and the United States. I'm not sure, Florence, if they ship to Ireland, but when I put the link in the video description, go and have a look. If they do, I'm sure you can get the exact same color. And this one sews very nice. The fabric is very nice. It's soft. Like I want to pet it. Super soft. Okay, how we go around the corners is we need to squish the inside of the fabric, like you're going to gather the sleeve, and make sure the outside of the fabric is laying flat. So you want the outside of the tube to be laying flat. So you push up tiny little bit just on these first few rounds so that this outside lays flat. You don't need to pin it. You don't need to do a funky fold on it. You just need to go super slow. And it will go flat around the corner. And this one, I know I can sew a little bit faster. The fabric on that, I don't know what it is with some fabric. It's almost like it's sticky, and some color lines, they sew very much slower than other ones. Other ones, I can just boogie and it works out better. But the sticky fabric, for some reason, it's a constant, oh, I really like this color of fabric, and then you order it and you don't really know the feel of it. Like you just don't know for sure. And it seems to, pull the thread, stick the needle. You can't sew as fast. It doesn't lie flat as nicely. Like all the things that you think could go wrong with it actually sometimes can go wrong with it. All right, we've got 13 people here. Hi, who is everyone that's here right now? I'm not sure if you're new here. We do have a contest going on, and it was 11 comments after somebody said something. I was like, who said what? And then I've got a number written on this piece of paper. So once we hit those 11 comments, we're going to show you what's on this piece of paper. And whoever made the comment that lines up with the piece of paper is going to win this tube maker here. So you need the tube maker. You don't need it, but it's super helpful. I'm not going to lie. It's increased my production by a lot. So this one is going to be a 40 strip rug, which is actually very helpful to see being made, because when we get to the part where it's a little bit bigger, we're going to show you a couple of tricks for making it flat again. Now, the basic way to make your rug flat is to not have any give on this, right? So not have any give. Sorry, not have any tension. And the fabric needs to feed into the machine exactly evenly. So don't push or pull the fabric unless it's the first few rounds of the fabric where you're starting this very, very, very tight corner. Then you push on the inside so the outside of the fabric lays flat. And that is how you get around the corner. And as I just explained, it's much the same as gathering like a sleeve. And if you are new here too, I do have a full-length tutorial that I will have linked at the end of the video, along with another video that tells you where to buy all the fabric. It will be linked at the end of this video too. Those will be the two videos I link to this. And you can watch the entire full-length tutorial. I believe it has over 40,000 views now for how to do these rugs. Today, I'm just going to do a couple of this beige one and this one here live, because people like to see this stuff. And we learned something new about Florence, that she lives in Ireland and she participates in a crowdfunding platform similar to Kiva, which I just explained to you guys. All right, very exciting. So I essentially have 4 months until my Christmas markets. My first weekend of Christmas markets will be the first weekend in November. I will be at the Millerville Ag Society. I will be in the Quonset. It's 25 minutes southwest of Calgary. If you're not from this area, I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And it is a very large egg society. It's been going for about 120 years, 119 years, something like that. There's a big racetrack there. A lot of you have probably seen this racetrack and similar surroundings from the TV show Heartland. Does anybody here watch Heartland? If you have watched Heartland, and you see their, their rodeo events where they've got like a rodeo arena, and they have green and white bleachers. That is the Millerville Ag Society. So they film the show here pretty close to Calgary, all within an hour and a half of Calgary in different locations. So they use the Millerville Ag Society. They use some locations right in the town of High River as well. And I actually was camping in High River last week. They have a very lovely campground right inside the actual town. So we, took a peek in the windows at Maggie's Diner, and they've added a lot to the community. She's got a store in High River. So Amber Marshall has a store. It's in Diamond Valley. So that's a town that's, 20 minutes away from High River. So she has a lot of mercantile, of course, from the store, but it's very Western oriented. And if you come to Calgary, it's not that far to go and see all these attractions. And I know she's done super well for herself, and good for her. And the show itself has added a lot to our community. So we appreciate them being around, that's for sure. They've made some areas that were not very popular super popular, and brought some more money into those local economies. So it's great for everybody. So yeah, the Millerville Ag Society Christmas Market, it goes for 2 weekends. Actually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for 2 weekends. And I will be there with all of my sewing projects, my Christmas cards, my layered mandala art. I will have sewing kits. I started with sewing kits last year, and I had soup bowl cozy sewing kits. But this year I'm going to have jelly rolls available there as well, affordably, because I don't have a lot of overhead. So when I go to a Christmas market and I've bought some supplies, I can sell it affordably, which I think some people are going to appreciate. I cannot wait. I've been asked for years, when are you going to uh, bring some supplies in? And this year I finally have a little wiggle room in my budget to order a few more supplies. Because when I went last year, when I tell you I was out of fabric, I kid you not. I had sewn and sewn and sewn. I had staff that helped me last year, like a contract staff lady that was helping me. And she sewed a bunch of stuff too. And this year I don't have any staff helping me. But I tell you, when I went to that Christmas market, I had, like, there was no more gas in the tank. There was so little supplies here in this office. I had made so much stuff. It was absolutely bananas. And this year I've really worked on, well, I don't have any staff. I took a couple months off, but just slowing down a little bit and then working on, how could I better improve each stand that I have, which is all mix and match stands. So I need to work on filling up each stand and having a matching product for each stand. I'm going to work on my pricing. So where I have some bundle deals for everything, which I hope will help me achieve more sales. My goal is to make 25% more than I did last year at the Christmas markets, and do it without having any staff. So I'll let you know if that works out. I mean, check on me. Somebody, for the love of God, please check on me. Let me go to the bathroom if you're there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So as you can see, this rug is lovely. Look at all these lush teal, blue, green, creams, oranges. I just love this color palette. I actually might sew one of these and put it in my kitchen, because I don't like the one that I made for there. My husband was begging me for a rug, and I put one in there, but the color is just like, it's not it, right? We did some renovations about 5 years ago and changed some colors around, and we had this horrible anti-fatigue sponge matte thing. It was ugly. I'm telling you, it was so ugly. So I did put a new rug in there, because my husband's like, if you don't put a new rug in there, I'm going to put that mat back in there, because he was sick of standing at the kitchen sink without any sponge under his feet. Not that he stands there for long, just enough to make himself a cup of coffee, essentially. But anyway, I finally did put a rug up there, and it just was not the color that I wanted. And I didn't own the color that I wanted. And then I bought this one, and now it's the color that I want. So we'll see. If I do it, I'll take this cream color out of it, because I don't want that color of white in it, that stark color of white for myself. But otherwise, yeah. So you guys can see, if this is like driving a car, right? I told you this before, if you're new here. This is like driving a car. Go slow. Learn how to go around the corners. Give yourself some grace. Don't push or pull anything. It's kind of like, if you're going 60 miles an hour and you slam on the brakes, everything is going to go woo, which is, if you slow that down a bit and consider it for a sewing machine, which, doesn't have, oh, there goes our notepad again, doesn't have anti-lock brakes or anything like that. You need to slow this down in order for this rug to be flat. The beige rug that I just did, it had a big wave in it already that I had to go iron. This one doesn't even have a wave in it. It just is going so nice. And that is the difference, literally, in fabric. It's fabric. Get yourself some good fabric. Get yourself some good thread. You can buy these flat sewing things. Every single thing that you need for this is in the Amazon link that I'll put at the end of the video. But you can set up a similar situation with your sewing machine and Uline boxes. So you can order boxes from Uline that are just the perfect, what would they call that, depth of your sewing machine, and tape your boxes together, and put a plastic tablecloth on top so that your material doesn't catch and it slides around nicely on it. Or you could use, like if you found a cereal that you really like to eat, I mean, you'd need like 10 boxes of it, but you could use cereal boxes. I'd just be a little bit careful. Oh, we're out of bobbin thread. How come nobody told me, you guys? You're supposed to be watching. You could use the cereal boxes, but I would be a little bit careful with the dye of the cereal boxes. Oh, hi, Anissa. How are you? Is it Anissa or Anissa? Can I see it there? Hello. Welcome. You're in the draw for the number that's wrote on this Post-it note. So we did a little while ago where it was like we need 11 comments for whoever's on this Post-it note, and I said it was after so-and-so's comment, we'll start counting to 11, and I'll go back on the video if I need to, but we should be able to figure it out pretty quick, and then you will be entered in the draw for this guy here, and you'll have to give me your mailing address if you want me to send it to you for free, because I don't think that people that win things should have to pay anything for it. And by watching my channel and buying things from the links and leaving comments and thumbs up and all that kind of stuff, it tells YouTube to show my videos to more people. And the more people that watch, the more money I make on YouTube, and then the more things I can do, like giveaway stuff. So I've once said I want to be the Mr. Beast of the sewing world. Wouldn't that be amazing? Please come into your sewing room every day, connect with some friends on YouTube, and give away stuff. Like, that would be my dream life. That would be so much fun. But you know what? It takes some work. You have to get some brand sponsors. So if you're a brand and you're looking to connect with me, please do. And you need to make a little bit of money. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch of money, but you do need to make a little bit of money in order to, justify sending somebody something in the mail. I have to keep the lights on, pay for all the electricity I'm using here, because I use a lot of electricity. But essentially, these rugs are not hard to make. Our grandmas were making them. I should do some research, because these have been going on. I know for sure, like, my grandma had them. So I'm 50 right now, and my grandma died when she was 75, like 25 years ago. Like, it's crazy. 100 years ago, people were making these rugs, and have been showing other people how to make these rugs. And now here I am on YouTube showing people how to make a rug. They call them different things over the years. So this is a fabric rug. This is a rag rug. This is a Jellyroll rug, because the fabric that I'm using is came off a Jellyroll. You can make any size that you want with these. You can add more fabric. You can make small ones. I typically start with the smallest ones I make would be 20 strips of fabric. So I would get 20 strips. Okay, who's on here now? Okay, just Anissa saying hello. Hello. Woo, that didn't sound good. Yank it out, clip off the end, check everything's, which is funny because I just started this bobbin, but like I said, I buggered up this sewing machine by putting metal bobbins in it, which I didn't know was a thing. You're only supposed to use plastic bobbins. And now I can't get it to work without a metal bobbin. It's absolutely crazy. And now my bobbin casing is stuck because I probably broke my own machine putting a metal bobbin into it, but I didn't know. And it was one of my viewers on my YouTube channel that said, hey, by the way, dummy, did you know? She didn't say dummy, but if you if you can't make fun of yourself, you're probably on the wrong channel. Because I can make fun of myself all the time. Anyway, she said to me, hey, by the way, did you know that you're not supposed to use these metal bobbins? And then sure enough, I went ahead and looked all over online, and the metal bobbins are not supposed to be used in these machines. And I researched it for every machine that I have here in my studio. And they all said, no, you're not supposed to use a metal bobbin. No, you're not supposed to use a metal bobbin. I have a bunch of lint in here, so I'm just going to clean this. And turns out she was right. And thank you for telling me that. And so I've stopped using metal bobbins. Aside from this machine, which I now cannot use a plastic bobbin in because it won't work. So I've probably broke my own machine, which I feel bad about. But I also consider as a business expense, so I want to use it until it's absolutely dead. And it is sewing, but every once in a while this thing gets caught, which is kind of annoying. And, you know, to be fair, there is a bunch of lint in here, so I clean that out as well. To be fair, it's not the machine's fault. It's that I didn't clean it out. So if you've got stuff that's catching and, you know, causing you grief, chances are you are the problem. And get in there and get your stuff cleaned out quickly. Put it back together. Of course, I've done this a million times, so I'm pretty quick at it. Make sure your bobbin casing is moving again. And, you know, I probably should have done safety first and turned off the power, but, you know, I'm willing to take the risk of sewing my own finger off, apparently. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Turn the power off before you do any repairs. Safety first, people. And if you're new here, this is why I like doing these lives. Like I've said a couple of times, you really get to know people if you're doing a live. And so I'm going to do more of them because I have a whole bunch of sewing I need to do before Christmas. So lucky you guys, you can watch it all. All right, let's get the bobbin going again. Get everything threaded. Make sure, no, I've missed this one up here. So if you do have to iron these rugs, I use water or Mary Ellen's Best Press. And I like the lavender scent from the Best Press. Once you do iron them, make sure you let them cool a little bit before you start sewing again, or you're going to have the exact same problem. Use quite a bit of steam to get your problem flat. And, you know, if you've got one problem after another problem, take that thing out and make sure it's flat. Make sure it's flat. So if you have a big wave in it and you are a new sewer, I highly recommend just getting your ripper out. Take it back to the row that you started having the wave in. Just do it. Because if you've got a wave and then you got a wave over here and then you're never fixing that thing ever. Now I've sewn, like I said, probably 1,500 rugs now, and I know how to get rid of a wave from years and years and years of practice. But if you are just starting out, just like if you're driving a car, go slow and fix your problems. Don't press on the gas. Don't go any faster. Just go back and fix what you've already done. And then as you learn and practice, you might be able to fix a small wave like I did on that beige one earlier. But as a rule, just take it out, because if it's not laying flat to begin with, chances are it will never lay flat, and you'll be on, you know, complaining what's going on here. So how many markets do I do a year? Okay, so last year I did 2 farmers markets in the summertime. So I did the Millerville Ag Society Farmers Market and I did the Bears Paw Lions Farmers Market. And I would do those 2 markets. One was on a Saturday, one was on a Sunday. And I would do them every second weekend. So on Friday, I would pack up whatever I have in my house here that I want to take to the markets. All my stands are in the office here. You can see them on other videos. I pack everything into IKEA bags and I put it into my car. Now, I typically go out super early on a Saturday morning and get set up, and I don't want to pack my car for one market. That is a complete waste of time. And the other thing I don't do this anymore. I'll give you some preference or some context for this in a second, but I don't do small one-off markets at all anymore. None of them. I only do big Christmas markets or big summer farmers markets that have been in the community for years and years and years, and they pretty much have guaranteed foot traffic. All these other little one-off markets where these girls are, it's typically girls renting a hall in the community and then getting vendors to pay, $150 to $500 for a day. Completely waste of time for me now. I won't do it. So during the summer months last year, from June to October, I would do 2 markets every 2 weeks. And the one market was on Saturday, the next market was on the Sunday, and then I'd come home and unpack all of my stuff. Then the markets end typically the first or second week of October, and then you have a month off, or I would have a month off before I started doing Christmas markets, which is where the big money is. And the Christmas markets, I how many weekends did I did 4 weekends of Christmas markets last year. So I did Millerville for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 weeks, and you don't have to take down in between. And then I went off to another venue a couple weeks after that one closed down, which was called the Saskatoon Farm. And it was also a multi-day market. It went Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and again for 2 weeks, so you don't have to take down in between. Now, I could probably do 4 more weeks of Christmas markets from October to December, but I choose not to. Just because sometimes the markets themselves will overlap, and I don't have a second setup, and I don't want to hire staff. Although, I did have a girl working with me in my booth last year, but I don't typically want to hire, staff to watch a whole other market for me. It's just, the setup is absolutely insane. And because I've been doing markets for so many years, my customers know where to come find me. And that's at the ones that I've been at. So I used to do another 3 weeks of a Christmas market at Spruce Meadows. But the issue was this last year, the Millerville Christmas market and the Spruce Meadows Christmas market started overlapping, just how the calendar fell. If they didn't overlap, we were going to have to start the Christmas market literally on Halloween, which nobody wanted to do. Who wants to have a Christmas market on Halloween? So Millerville had to push their week, which meant that all of the vendors that go to Millerville are now, they either have to have a second setup or they have to go to Spruce Meadows and tear down one or the other, which was just a pain. And Spruce Meadows didn't bump their week because they have a huge, massive drive-through Christmas light show that would overlap. So they have their Christmas market for a couple weeks, and then they shut down the Christmas market, and they turn all of those roads into this drive-through Christmas light display for the city. So there was no other way to shuffle the weekends. Now, this has put a lot of local vendors in a difficult position of having to choose which market to do, or having to get themselves a whole other setup and staff, et cetera, to do these 2 markets at the same time. Now, I had done Spruce Meadows a year before. I made more money at Millerville, and I had been at Millerville for years, whereas Spruce Meadows I had only done for 1 year. So I had more reliable customers at Spruce Meadows than I did at Millerville. So now I'm choosing to stick with Millerville. I have a larger booth at a lower cost, and just because I have so many repeat customers that come out there, that's what I've chosen to do. So yeah, I was doing a lot. Now, I'm not sure if you're new here, but I have, if you're not new here, I apologize for this, but This last couple of years, my husband and I have both had some serious health issues. Him with colon cancer, and then I had a detached retina at Christmas last year. So this year, I've decided not to do as many markets and to focus more on my Christmas markets and increase my booth size, which will theoretically increase my revenue at Christmas time. So I'm just going to concentrate more on my Christmas. I hope that helps with your question, but I'm gonna tell you one more thing about those other little markets. Just let me get a sip here. Sorry, I was out of breath there, girl. Okay, so I did start at all these little school markets. You know, you have the local school putting on a craft market. Go there. You have a little farmer's market in this, you know, kind of not known parking lot of a church. I did that. I did all kinds of little markets. And as I did these little markets, I learned a lot of stuff. I learned that markets that don't have, that aren't there regularly, like set up every weekend or set up every Christmas, they don't have the foot traffic. No matter what these girls tell you or these people tell you, you need to get into reliable markets. But the problem is, if you don't do some of these smaller markets, you don't have the images of your booth setup at a market to legitimately apply for these bigger markets, which often request that you have pictures of your booth setup. So how do you do that? You either go and work, or you you fake it, but you need the practice too. So I don't regret, even though it took me a long time, I don't regret going and doing some of these smaller markets. I didn't make a crap load of money, but I did make some money, and I learned from other vendors, you know, how to set things up, how to, um, just so many tips, right? Like for pricing, for how to display products, for um, resources for how to get supplies. Now, I've been doing this since 2019, and not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty big now, right? So that means, because I've done all these markets, and because I have my website, and because I have my YouTube channel, all of those kind of things have helped me get other things like wholesale accounts. So now I can buy my supplies less expensively. Um, they've gotten me some brand partnerships where I work with local, with some brands to tell you about fabric. For instance, Connecting Threads. I'm an affiliate for Connecting Threads. There'll be a link in the video description if you want to go buy this Jellyroll. I believe it's still on their site, and I earn a small commission for that. So it's kind of like playing a video game when you start a craft business, and each level opens the door to another level. That's what happens. You just keep working at it, and next thing you're able to buy your fabric cheaper, or you're able to talk to somebody about some software that you can use, or you talk to somebody about like AI, how you can make reels for your YouTube channel, all those kind of things. So do I regret it? No, I don't. No, I don't regret it at all. Okay, so you guys, you can see here we're almost at the end of this rug. And this is where you might get a little bit of a wave here. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the wave, but basically this is all I've got left to sell off this 40-inch rug. And so off of this, I mean, how long did that take? You're all live here. Not very long, right? But this is where it's important, where you can start doing things like this. Lift up some of the weight off the fabric, and this will help take some of the tension off where it's feeding in. Do not push or pull either one of these going into the sewing machine. You can also fold it in half like this and put your hand underneath and take a few stitches this way. It's really important to go slow for these last few rows. It often doesn't matter what fabric you have. When I was sewing in the middle here, I was going super fast, but for these last few ones, just take your time, go slow, and you will thank me, because you won't have a great big dip at the end of this rug. And then once it's got to this level, I will fold it this way and maybe off to the side here just a little bit so it's not impeding any of the fabric going in. And I've got my hand underneath, so I'm just taking a little bit of weight off, and then that way I can still have this end and the other edge of the rug here just going in at the exact same tension, and that will prevent the waving here. And of course I just went off the side of it, so only by 2 stitches. That's okay. All right, I went off the side of it, started again. And if you're new here, I always, when I start my thread, I always turn my width of my zigzag down to 0. And that way I don't have a big, huge chunk of like obvious zigzag thread where I've started an end, because I think that looks crappy and I don't like crappy looking things. So this is how I get the rugs flat when I've got the weight of the edge. Now I typically only do 40 strip rugs because I sell them, you know, bulk at my store or on my website, and at the well, I sell them bulk too, because I do have some wholesale accounts from stores that order from me. So I guess if you're still watching here, Anissa, I do have other ways of selling. I sell off my website to the public. You can go and buy a rug right now. I ship to Canada and the United States. And I also sell my rugs to, well, all my sewing actually, to stores where they order wholesale from me. And they get a discount for ordering wholesale, and I ship the rugs at their expense, or all the sewing at their expense, and then they are responsible to sell it, and they cannot mark up the price of my products. They can mark it down if they want to put it on sale, but they cannot mark it up. So I do have a couple of stores that order wholesale from me. I thought I was going to do more wholesale this year, and you know, just with all of our health stuff, I'm like, I don't really need to be stressing myself out that much. So maybe next year. But I have some other things in the works, some big news coming up on more videos here in the very near future. Because like I've mentioned at the beginning of this video, I just took a couple of months off with my husband to kind of get a whole bunch of projects done around our house. He just got a cancer-free diagnosis from having colon cancer. He didn't work at all last year. The last couple of years has been really hard on us. And now that he's feeling a bit better, we're just taking a minute to get our own, you know, life situation calmed down and projects done around the house. So all right, as you can see, this is going in super flat here now. This is what we want to see. Even if we do have the tiniest ripple on the edge of this rug on the outside, we'll be able to iron that flat. But you just need to be very careful. And then this is the end of the strip. And I know a lot of you don't like those butted up ends. I don't either. So in the full length video tutorial, I do have, you know, how to do the taper end. I walk you through the entire process, from laying out the colors, mitering them, sewing the tube with the batting in it, and mitering the end. And I actually show you how to sew the round and round portion of this too. But I felt it was important today, you guys, to just do a live video, which I may do a bunch of these actually, because it was kind of fun for me and it was fun interacting with you guys. Oh, and how many markets? Okay, yeah, I did answer that one. How many markets do I do in a year? Yeah, I did answer that. So like I said, you'll thank me later if you go slow for this last little bit, because you don't want to rip this out once you've gotten this far. With the price of fabric and the chance of you know, snagging it with this seam ripper, you just want to do that as little as possible. Just make sure. So we're coming up to the live end of the live here today. Does anybody else have any questions whatsoever? Anybody else want to say hello? And once we're done this, I think that we should just figure out who this comment is. I can go back on my machine here and have a look. So any questions at all, you guys, now's the time. Let's get them in here. Any comments, where you're from, thanks for the videos, anything like that. Let's get those comments in so we can get gone here. My thread broke right here at the end. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, that's the end of it. That is the very end of it. You can see here I've got a tiny little wave. We'll be able to press this down. Absolutely no problem. We'll tack in this end here, and that'll be the end of the tutorial for today. So is that it? We're done? Okay, can I go back and see who said something? Can you use any type of thread? I use a 40 weight polyester thread. And the reason I use a poly thread is because of the break point. And I actually have a video at the end of this, or won't be at the end of this, but you can go look on my channel, and I have my top 6, or is it my top 6 tips for making jelly rolls. And I go over some stuff there, but I'll just quickly show you because you asked this one specifically. Hang on one second. I'm just going to get some different thread. Okay. So, okay, I'm back. I make soup bowl cozies, right? They look like this. And this is another product that I sell in my store. The soup bowl cozies go in the microwave, and therefore they must have a cotton thread. So everything with this soup bowl cozy must be cotton. The cotton thread, the cotton batting, the cotton fabric. But the cotton thread, I'll just show you. We'll just pull some off. The cotton thread breaks like that. And the polyester thread does not. Like, you have to give it a pull in order for it to break. Cotton thread, no problem. Polyester thread, you got to pull it. So if you're going to put this on your floor and you want it to last a while, you need to have a thread that doesn't break so easy. Why are we gasping? What's going on? Okay, gasping at the difference, right? But yeah, that's the difference. The thread doesn't break as easy. So I use an embroidery thread. It's a 40 weight polyester embroidery thread. When I'm done the video, I'll put my Amazon link in, and you can link to the store and every single thing I use, like from the machine to the clover tool, everything. Yeah, the breakage. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. That's why you don't do it. Well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, right? Like, you're a human being, but you ask me a question, and I feel like, sometimes when you ask a question and then you don't do what the professional has told you, I consider myself a professional because I've been doing this for years. You're kind of an asshole. That's what I call, right? It's so funny, but yeah, it's polyester thread for the win for this one. So yeah, just go anything you want to ask. If you think of questions after this, by all means, you can come back to the video and leave comments, because it is a live. Just because it is a live video, it will still be shown to other people, so you can always come back. But yeah, I use that term also. Isn't that funny? Yeah, you're an asshole. You ask me a question and then you don't take my advice. Yeah, I don't know everything. I told you guys about these metal bobbins and how I buggered up my own machine by using a metal bobbin. And somebody, random viewer came on here and said, "Hey, Jolene, did you know you're not supposed to use a metal bobbin?" And then I made a whole video about it, because who knows? But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. Anybody else have any questions, comments, requests, anything like that? Okay, so what we're going to do is, I just want to see if I can go back and see the comments, but I don't think I can. Let me just try to scroll on my phone here. Can I do it? Oh yeah, hang on here. Catherine. Jackson, Elise. Okay, it was 11 comments from Maria that we needed to start this this giveaway. So there was Florence as number 1 from Ireland. Then there's Karen as number 2. Then there was Karen as number 3. Then there was Florence, again, number 4. And then there's Anissa, number 5, Anissa, number 6, Keisha, number 7, Keisha, number, okay. So I know who won this. It's Florence. So Florence, if you're still here, I'm going to tag you on this. You were number 4, and you're going to win the Jellyroll tube maker. I'm going to send this to you in Ireland. So if you're still here, dear, make a comment on here, and then email me at homestitcherydecor@gmail.com. I'll reach out to you. I'll tag you in this, and we're going to give you the Clover tube maker completely free. This is what you guys get for watching my videos, and this is how you help small creators in your community. Go on to their YouTube channels, turn it on while you're working in your office, watch all of their content, leave some comments, be kind about it, and then hopefully there's some more people doing fun things like this. And I think that's it for this video. Congratulations. Yeah, she did it. She won. Florence from Ireland. Who knew? And that's it for this video. I'm going to make more videos today, but they're going to be like, I'm going to do a video on the cutting system for these rugs. It's expensive. It's worth it. You can make some money if you want to make rugs. But I did a video on it a while ago, and then somebody came on and commented and said, you know what would have been really helpful is if you actually gave us the part numbers, which I didn't. And I was like, you know, it's kind of like one of those obvious things, and somebody points it out to you, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of a jerk for not actually walking the people through this. So I'm going to get my quilt cutting system out. I'm going to show you the cutting system for cutting the rugs, the exact system that I use. And then I'm going to show you the parts on the actual website for the actual parts that you need with the part numbers. So break it down for you guys, super easy. And it doesn't just cut rugs. You can, all of my projects actually, I cut with the quilt system. I'm an affiliate for it, and I earn commissions off of it. But you need the actual part numbers to make it easy. I should have made it easy for this lady. So I am going to do that. I told her I was going to do it months ago, and, you know, took a couple months off. So I'm going to show you guys the part numbers, and you can start making your own rugs with that. Like I said, it is expensive to get started. Once you get started, it's like any business. You need to spend some money to make some money. It's really hard. I get it. I'm a small business. I started with absolutely nothing. And if I can do this, you can too. You can take all of my ideas that I have on this channel and go set up a farmer's market booth exactly the same as I did. These products sell. I promise you this. I'm making money doing this. And I just want to encourage some more people to start crafting and to start earning some money for their family. And if my products and my ideas and my ways of setting it up and teaching it on this YouTube channel can help you, then that's what I want to do with my life, because it's fun and I like having fun. So that's it. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye. Oh, how much do you price your rugs at? Okay, that's a good question. My rugs go from $70 to $145, $70 to $145, and that is Canadian money. So that is not American money. And I know Americans are charging a heck of a lot more for their rugs, and I get it. I think what's happening though is these makers are sitting down and they're making a rug, and that's what they're making. When I come into my studio and I make a rug, I'm also trying to make soup bowl cozies, which I do, right? Like while I'm sewing the fabric tubes, I will be making soup bowl cozies. I will have my embroidery machine running behind me, which makes my reindeer. I can actually show you one because I have one right here close. So these are, can I reach one here? These are my embroidery reindeer. This is my own original design. So I make anywhere from 5 to 10 of these a day, and these sell at my Christmas market booth as well. And then I also make my cards, which I can show you. So I have my own line of cards. So here's one of my designs. I sell the designs on my Etsy store, and I make them while I'm sewing. So I have to get up from my machine. I have to take the paper off the Cricut machine, put in a new piece of material or paper for the Cricut machine. I have to, you know, put in new like embroidery stabilizers so I can, you know, make these all day long. And then I sew at the same time. So I typically have 4 products that I am making at the same time, which significantly decreases the amount of money I have to charge my customers for the products. Because if I'm making, like, if I get, say, I get 30 cards made a day and they sell for $6 each, that's a lot of money. And I get 4 rugs made a day, and I get 8 of these made a day, and I get, 20 soup bowl cozies made in a day. I typically can make anywhere from, depending on what I'm making, right? Because everything's a little bit different for time wise and switching around and whatnot. But when I sit my butt down to work, I typically can make anywhere from $600 to $1,100 in products in a day. That's a lot of products. I have to minus my expenses, all that kind of stuff, right? Because when you're making that much stuff, of course, this fabric is expensive. But if I'm working and I like, that's like a 12-hour day where I'm like, just like, that's it. I'm going to work. I'm going to work. I'm going to work. I'm going to work. Then I can actually make some pretty good money on my products. But you also have to take into consideration things that cost money, right? Like the apps cost money, the website costs money, that the electricity costs money, the sourcing everything costs money, the bookkeeping costs money, the accountant costs money, the apps that I use to like take my pictures and make my product pictures. Like if you go look on my website, like go look at the tea towels. I use an app to make a fake background behind it, like a fake kitchen background. That app costs money. Canva costs money. Like the E-Rank costs money. vidIQ costs money. Everything costs money. So you just have to take that into consideration. If you're starting your own business, you don't have to do all of that all at once. But I do highly recommend, getting yourself a system where you have, like even if you just started with a Cricut machine, I'll put a Cricut link in the background here too. You can go buy my cards designs if you want to start making them. I'll put a link in the video description for you if you want to go and look at that. But I would recommend sewing something and having another project make something in the background, because this is going to take a little bit of your headspace to get going, to get set up, to get it, if you're going to make them like to sell. And if you're making something in the background, then you don't feel as much pressure, and you're starting your income right away. So you could make, I would I guarantee this? No, because I don't know your personality. But if you bought a Cricut machine and an AccuQuilt cutting machine and made your own projects and just use the videos that I have and the card designs that I have for sale, you could actually make a Christmas market booth and make all of your money back on buying that equipment, like easily. But the thing is, most people won't do that. They just want to watch videos on YouTube, which is why I make videos on YouTube. Thank you for being here. But for the people that actually want to make something, they stall around, right? They're like, oh, I need to figure this one out, or look at that thing, or whatever. And to put it all together, it's actually kind of hard. Now, I do offer coaching calls on my website as well. If somebody's looking for a coaching call, you can go on my website and book coaching with me. If you've got ideas and you're just like, how do I put it all together? Like, I've worked on this for years, but I do have a really good system now, and it is working. So I'm proud of myself, and oh my gosh, thank you guys so much for being here. So that is the Jellyroll rug live sewing classes for today. And yeah, unless anybody else has any questions, I've got Debbie Boo. Hi, Debbie. We are just closing up shop here for today. We've been on here for, gosh, over an hour. I've sewn 2 rugs live on this, so you can go back and watch the replay if you want. This is the second one I did. This is the first one I did. We got to know some people here on the internet. And yeah, that's going to be it for my live for today. So thanks you guys for being here. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. And now I got to figure out how to shut this thing off. Anybody know? I'll figure it out. Thank you very much. Oh, Florence, you're here. Okay, Florence, before I go, Florence, email me home Stitchery Decor at gmail.com. and I need to send you, you won this. So send me an email. And if you don't, I'll come back to your Facebook page or your YouTube page here and see if I can find you. But please email me so I can mail this to you if you want this. Okay. So I'm going to send this off to Ireland. Okay, you guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now. How do we turn this off? I don't know. Maybe this button? Are you sure you want to end the one? Why? I don't know. You guys were all so nice. Okay, bye.